So for our daily mobility routine, we're going to start by mobilizing the spine first. So effectively, we're focusing on the center of our body and then mobilizing our way out. When you're on your hands and your knees, make sure your shoulders are stacked above your hands and make sure your hips are stacked above your knees to make sure you're in the right position. We're going to do 5 reps of cat-cows here. So arch your back looking up for the cow. Flex your back down for the cat. As you're looking back up, as you go back into that cow, you're going to make sure that you're pushing your hands down and forward. And when you're going into the cat, you're going to make sure you're pushing your hands down and towards your knees. Make sure that when you're looking up for this next rep, you look up as high as you can and arch your pelvis. And when you look at your belly button during the cat, you're also trying to tuck your pelvis underneath. We're going to go for 2 more reps. Arch, come back down, flex, and then we're going to do our last one. So you're going to look up, get as much as you can using those hands and arms, and for the last cat, flexing and tucking under, getting as much range of motion as you can. So now we're going to stand up and transition into cervical cars. We're still working on the spine, just working on the top portion. So you're going to bring your chin down to your chest, pushing it in lightly, dragging it across the collarbone to the top of your shoulder, tipping back and rolling as you look towards the sky, bringing that chin to the other shoulder, and then dragging it down the collarbone again, or restacking as you look straight ahead, and reversing. So you're going to do the exact same thing in the opposite way. Looking up, rolling around, shoulder, pushing into the collarbone, and resetting. We're going to do 1 more round, forward and reverse. So chin down, drag across the collarbone, top of the shoulder, tip back and roll around, bring it to the opposite shoulder, press into the collarbone, drag down, reset, flex back down, and reverse by going the opposite way. Make sure you keep tension in your neck while you do this to try and get as much range of motion as possible. Going into scapular cars, we're going to be mobilizing the shoulder blades. We'll be doing both shoulders simultaneously to save us some time, and we'll do 5 reps forward and 5 reps reverse. Start by placing your hands at your side and make 2 fists. You're going to shrug up as high as you can, squeeze your shoulder blades together, bring them down, and then bring them forward. And again, the biggest circle that you can possibly make, up, back, down, forward, up, back, down, forward, and we got 1 more. I'll turn to the side for you. I'm going to reverse. So back, up, forward, down. Make sure to try and keep your fists relatively in the same place when you're going forward and back. So squeezing the shoulder blades together and separating them apart when you're forward. Squeezing them together when they're back, separating them when they're forward. Back, up, forward, down. We're going to transition now into shoulder cars. And we'll do 2 reps forward and reverse per shoulder. And we'll start with our hands open at our side and thumbs fully extended. First, rotate externally from your shoulder so your thumb rotates forward and out. Keeping your elbow as straight as you can, cut the largest half circle you can across the middle of your body until you can't go any further overhead. Now rotate internally from the shoulder, thumb spins forward and out. Keep internally rotating until your fingernails end up by your hip. Then you're going to go straight back. Once you can't go back any further, now rotate the shoulder in the opposite direction so that thumb now swivels all the way around, and trace that half circle back to your side. I'm going to do 1 more round. Cut that half circle, keep the elbow straight. Overhead, switch into internal rotation, thumb swivels around, try and reach back as straight as you can with no bend in the elbow. And fingernails ending at the hips, reversing, swiveling back once again into external rotation, and trying to get as much range as you can in that half circle, ending up at your side. And now we'll do the exact same thing on the opposite arm. So externally rotate, cut that circle, keep that elbow as straight as you can. Overhead, you rotate, reach as far back as you can. Keep rotating, end up at the hip, the fingernails facing, and reverse, swivel back around. When you're coming across the front of your body, you can sometimes imagine you're trying to balance a bowl of soup in your hand without spilling it. And we'll go in for our last repetition. Try and keep your form as clean as possible, always trying to make subsequent reps larger than the previous reps. So you're always trying to fight for more range of motion. That is the main thing about cars. You're trying to get more range of motion, and only from the specific joint that we're targeting. Nowhere else should you be having any movement. All right, so for our elbow cars, we're gonna do both sides simultaneously as well. Start with your hands at your side and make sure you rotate from the elbow so the thumbs spin out to the side. Do a bicep curl all the way up. Rotate in so thumbs face each other, and then return to where you started. Rotate from the elbow out. Bicep curl as much as you can. Rotate the other way with the elbow and extend as much as you can. We'll do our last rep. Rotate out, bicep curl, rotate in, and return. Now we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna start with our palms facing back. So thumbs are facing together, bicep curl, thumbs rotate out, return to where you started. Thumbs facing in, bicep curl all the way up, thumbs facing out, and back to where you started. Now we'll go into our last rep. Make sure that you're getting as much rotation as you can both ways during the elbow cars. Okay, for wrist cars, we'll also do both wrists simultaneously. Make sure your forearms are facing up the whole time. Extend the fingers, keeping them straight so they point towards your toe. Keeping those fingers straight, you're gonna move inward and straight up, out, and back where you began. We'll do 2 more rounds the same way. So going in, up, out, down. Make sure, especially when you go up, you don't cup your hands. That's a common compensation. So now we're gonna reverse. We're gonna go the other way. So you start facing down, now you're going out. You're pointing up without cupping your hands, pointing towards each other, starting down. Again, we're rotating all the way around. Make sure your forearm doesn't spin. You don't want to have any rotation from the elbows. Make sure all the movement is originating at the wrist. We'll be doing the standing variation of the hip cars, which means you do want to grab something for support. I'm using a mobility stick, but you can use a chair, desk, wall, whatever helps you to maintain your balance. Start with your legs straight, rotate from the hip so your toe faces out, sweep across the front of your body as much as you can. Begin to bend the leg, keeping the ankle and knee as high as you can. Unwind and bring that knee as much as you can up to the sky. Open that up, maintaining that height. Rotate into internal rotation and kick back and end, and you're gonna now reverse. So we'll go back the other way. Internally rotate by kicking your ankle out to the side, kick back, squeeze the glute if you can, pop up into external rotation, go as high as you can, keep that ankle high until you sweep across. And we're gonna restart again. So you really wanna make sure here you're getting external rotation, but here in the back part of the car, you're really focusing on internal rotation. And then as we reverse, you're focusing here on internal rotation, but as you transition to the front, you're now focusing on external rotation once again. We'll do one more rep here. Make sure with external rotation that you are really trying to keep your ankle and knee as high as you can to get that rotational torque. And then over here, make sure you rotate well. Again, rotation is one of the most important components of these cars, so make sure you don't skimp out on it. Make sure you come all the way around. Perfect, we're gonna switch sides. I'm also gonna turn so that you can see my side profile. Same thing, leg straight, toe facing out. Keep it straight until you bend. Externally rotate as much as you can. Flex that hip up, knee as high as you can. And then rotate here. Make sure the outside of that ankle moves up while that knee moves down. Kick back and restart. Rotate so that the ankle comes outside the body. Kick back. Bring that knee as high as you can. Sweep across the front and return. We got 2 more reps here. Same thing. So you're getting external rotation here and then really focusing on internal rotation here. Internal rotation tends to be the hardest part for most people who have mobility issues, so don't feel bad if that part feels more difficult or more tense and tighter than the rest of the car in general. Do our last one. Try to make sure you're getting as much range as you can. Don't compensate by using the spine or the pelvis. You just want movement from the hip, nowhere else. Kick back, squeeze the glute, pop the knee up as high as you can, externally rotate, and we're done with hip cars. Just to keep things simple and fluid, we'll do our knee cars standing. So balance on one foot. You're gonna rotate the knee inward so the toe is in, flex back, rotate out, extend. Rotate in, flex the knee as much as you can, rotate out, extend the knee as much as you can. Last one this way. Remember, get as much rotation as you can. And now we'll do the reverse. So open to the side, rotate as much as you can, flex back, rotate inward, and then extend the knee. Rotate out again, flex back, rotate in, and extend, and we'll do one more before switching legs. Good. Turn to the side so you can see from a different perspective. Same story. Inward rotation, flex back, external rotation, extend. Toes pointed in, kick back up, toes pointed out, and extend the knee forward. Make sure that you're not rotating from the hip, because that's a common mistake people do. Now we'll reverse, so toes are facing out as you kick your heel back up, and then toes are facing in as you extend. Toes out, rotating from the knee, flex, rotate in, and extend. Last one, flex, internally rotate, and extend. So we'll move into patellar cars now. The patella is just another name for your kneecap, and you'll have to use your hands because you can't actually move your kneecap on your own. So find your kneecap using your thumbs or your fingers, move it up, out to the side, down, in towards the middle. So you're just making a huge circle, making sure you hit all those 4 points. So just keep going in both directions. So now we're switching, middle, down, out to the side, and up. Only doing a couple reps on each side, same thing, find it, push it down towards the middle, up, laterally out towards the side, down again, to the middle, up, out to the side, and down. We're gonna reverse, so up, to the middle, down, out to the side, up, middle, down, and we're done. Okay, we'll do our ankle cars standing as well, so pick one. And I want you to bring your toes towards your face as much as you can, out to the side, point them down as far as you can, in towards the other leg, and go again. We'll go for 2 more reps, making the biggest possible circle that you can with your ankle. Try to keep those toes straight so they're up towards your face, out to the side, pointing your toes towards the floor, into the middle. And we will reverse. Make sure you go both ways so we get all the surrounding musculature involved in the joint. Remember that even though we're training joints, that means that we're actually affecting all of those tissues, muscles, tendons, ligaments, everything. We'll switch to the other side. Bring that foot up in front of you just to hover off the floor. And it doesn't really matter what direction you begin, just try to bring your ankle in as much range as you can in all directions. You'll see I actually have trouble keeping my toes together. It's one of those things that I have to work on. So do one way, and then you're gonna reverse. So here we're going in, down, out, up, in, pointing toes towards the ground, out, up. We'll do our last one in this direction. Make sure you get the full range. Try and make each one a little bigger than the last. Now we're going to go right into thoracic cars, or T-spine cars for short. For these, we're only trying to mobilize the middle of your back, not the low back. So grab your shoulders, flex forward, or rotate as much as you can to the side, dip back into extension. Bring it all the way around, flex forward, or restack your spine, looking straight ahead. Reflex, and now you're gonna go the other way. Rotate as much as you can. Once you can't anymore, tip back, rotate in extension all the way to the other side, go back into flexion, and then restack again. We'll do 2 more reps from 2 different perspectives. So here we go. Flexed, rotated, extended, rotate, flex. You'll notice that my low back is not moving much at all. I'm really focusing on my mid back. So rotate in flexion, dip back up into extension, rotate all the way around, and flex again. All right, we'll do 1 last rep both ways on the other side so you can see. Again, just my mid back is really moving. My low back is not moving, and my neck is basically just going along for the ride, but all that motion is coming from the middle of my spine. Make sure your hips don't move at all through this. That's how you can guarantee you're only moving from the mid back. Okay, so lastly, we're gonna go into toe mobility. So raise that big toe as high as you can, but keep all the little toes on the floor. Again, raise that toe up, down, last time. And now you're gonna do the opposite, so keep that big toe down and raise all the other ones. 1, do it again, keep that big toe down, raise all the other toes up. 2, last time. 3, now bring all your toes into the air and just bring the big toe down to the ground and up. 1, 2, so those other toes are staying elevated, and 3. Now you're gonna switch so that big toe stays up and the other toes go down to the floor. 1, 2, this one's pretty hard for me, and 3. Awesome. So we are gonna do the same thing on the other foot. So big toe goes up, little toes stay down. 1, big toe goes up, keep the other ones pressed into the ground. 2, and last time. 3, we're gonna switch, big toe stays down, little toes go up. 1, 2, and last one. 3. All right, so all the toes go up, just the big toe goes down. 1, 2, and last time. 3, and then just the little toes go down, big toe stays up. 1. Ooh, see, that's pretty hard. 2, and 3. And we are done with the entire daily mobility routine.